Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Alice Basics. Hope you guys had a great weekend and a great Monday. It is Monday today. It is finally starting to warm up and stay warm in Michigan. I'm so excited. Also, we are starting our water challenge in the Diet Dropout Club. If you want to join, go ahead and click the link in the show notes, and you can still get in. Today is only day one. Well, actually, today's day 2, technically. And, you know, I'd be happy to have you if you're interested in, you guys. If you guys are interested in coming, I'm going to just, excuse me while I close that out. Okay. Alrighty. So I want to talk about my little April accountability thing for the last, we're 13 days into this month. So about half the month almost. And I'm kind of happy, blown away a little bit, if you will. So if you've been following along and listening, you guys kind of know a little bit about my story. If you're new here, you need to go back, maybe listen to episodes. I'll give a real big synopsis, right? After losing 80 pounds and maintaining that weight loss, hired a coach, put on 30 pounds in about 3 months, which is really not even just physically not good and metabolically not good. It was emotionally not good. It was not good in many, many ways. And so now I'm trying to bring all that off. And it's been a struggle for me. And I want to talk a little bit about what I've shifted over the last 13 days and really going back to how I started at 250 pounds. But I'm only focusing right now on 3 different things for this little April accountability thing. And it's not even a thing. It's just something that I am doing. And all my clients that I sent calendars to, they're having the opportunity to kind of join me a little bit in this. I even sent them, something this morning in our group message or in our group community chat about like, hey, what's something that you're working towards this week? Just to keep it front of focus, front of mind in the conscious part of the brain so that we are actively working towards something visually that we can actually see. So mine happens to be on my board behind me. And so I see every day that I come into my office. So that's what I'm working on, but I'm only focusing on 3 different things, just 3 things. That's it. I am focusing on tracking my food. I'm focusing on my steps, and I am focusing on drinking water. Okay. Because what I'm going to tell you here isn't about the 3 things that I'm choosing to focus on. It's about the mindset shift that's happened when I have started focusing on them. Okay. So again, last few years, well, we're almost going into 3 years at this point. I've put some of this weight back on. And again, I've talked about this, gained some weight after I hired a coach. Life shifted for me. My husband came home full time. He was working like a full-time job plus another part-time job that was turning into a full-time job. He was barely home. Kids shifted into high school, which I thought would be easier. I struggled with that a little bit more. It's just like life was just different. And since then, I've been stuck, if you will, right? Not because I didn't know what to do. I've already done it. I've lost 80 pounds with no extra help, no crazy, I don't want to say crazy tools because that's not appropriate, I guess, but like no tools, no GLP-1s, no surgery, nothing like that. No crazy restriction. I guess maybe that's the crazy part. No crazy overtraining, nothing like that. But I know what to do. I have done it, right? I teach people to literally do this. But I was stuck because of my emotional state and being really pissed off at myself, right? I beat myself up almost daily about putting on this weight that I had already taken off. I was ashamed. I was frustrated. I'm like, how did I let this happen? I should have known better. I am a coach. This is what I help people with. Like, how am I helping them if I can't even get my own shit together? Like, what is wrong with me? And also for the fact of allowing it to happen, letting it happen. I did not stand up for myself. I did not stick up for what I should have said, which was this is too much. And instead of just accepting, this is what happened, this is what I allowed, this is what is, I just got stuck in a loop of shame. And I would beat myself up. I'd feel like shit almost every single day. And then I do nothing because, I was stuck in this loop of feeling bad about myself, self-sabotaging everything before I'd even start to try again. Okay. And it was almost like I was paralyzed. Like I just couldn't get out of my own ick. And I was always reminded by this when I would put on clothes or I look at old photos of myself. That was the kicker. This last weekend, maybe the weekend prior, the week before, whatever, I was looking at old photos. I was challenged and to do something. And I was sad. I was like looking at these photos, like sad for myself because I was like, how did I get back here where I'm at so uncomfortable in my skin? And all that did, was fuel this fire, fuel this shame, fuel this guilt, fuel this spiraling that I was finding myself in, right? Oh, you let it all go. Look at all these photos. Like you gained it all back. You're fraud. You don't know what you're doing. You shouldn't be coaching. And this was the loop that I was telling myself every single day, right? So when I started this accountability thing, I was like, okay, what makes sense? What are my big needle movers? What do I really need to be focusing on? And I shifted what the focus was. Before, I was focusing on what I did, the weight I gained, the habits I let go of, right? The consistency that I wasn't getting, all of it that I had lost, essentially. And I was stuck in this past. I was going to just continue to beat myself up for it, shaming myself for where I ended up. But when I started tracking these 3 things that I know are going to be big needle movers, they're low-hanging fruit for me, I stopped focusing on the things that I did and started focusing on what am I doing now? So I stopped focusing on what I had done to myself and I started to just focus on what am I doing now? What am I doing today? Right? Because all the things that I'm focusing on, which are, did I hit my steps? Did I drink my water? Did I track my food? It's all right now. It's all present tense. What am I doing right now? Not what I did 2 years ago when I had this coach or 6 months ago when I was still quote unquote trying to get my shit together, but what am I doing today? And that shift has made a very big difference. So let's talk about why the shift is more important. Okay. When we are focusing on the things that we did, we get stuck in that shame loop cycle. I gained 30 pounds. I let all my habits slip. I stopped being consistent. I failed. I suck. I'm a bad coach. I'm a fraud. All of these things are past tense. It's all looking backwards. There's a reason that they always say, and it's cliche because it's true, that your rear view mirror is smaller than the window ahead of you, right? Your windshield, right? Your rear view mirror is smaller because we don't need to be looking in the past. We need to be looking in the forward, in the future, in the direction that you're going. That's why it's bigger, okay? But when we feel like shit, we don't take action. We just sit. We sit in the ick. We sit in the uncomfortables. And that's okay to be uncomfortable, but we just sit there. We don't do anything. You can be uncomfortable and take action, right? And I know that this is where I was. I was so stuck in beating myself up for what I did to myself that I wasn't able to take steps to move forward. But if you can shift your focus from what are you doing, or to what are you doing, then you don't have to worry about the things that you did because you're in the present. You're in the now. I hit my steps. I drank my water. I tracked my food. All of that is in the now, in the current, in the present. Okay. And all of that is something that I have control over, which I love for myself, right? I can't change what I allowed to happen. So I can sit and fucking be mad about it and be angry at myself for it, or I can change it. I can control what I can control today. And this is where the power is. This is where you get to sit in the driver's seat. Okay. And I'd be a liar to say that this feels, I don't want to call it easy because it's not necessarily easy. I chose these things because they were low hanging fruit, meaning I know that I'm capable of these. These are all things that I have done before. And it's a matter of taking action in an alignment with hitting these 3 tasks. Okay. So I've stopped walking in the middle of the day like I used to do. I used to do stuff and then around, midday, I would go take a walk. Now, I will say part of it, we live in Michigan. I bought a walking pad. I didn't have an excuse not to be doing this, but I wasn't doing it. Now that the weather's a little bit nicer, I'm like, I think I'm going to go take a walk. That has been helpful. Understanding I need to hit X steps by X time or I'm never going to get there. And then doing things to set myself up for that. Right. But being able to focus on what I'm doing right now feels a lot lighter for me. It doesn't feel so damn hard and so heavy. Right. Shame is heavy. It's exhausting and it keeps you stuck in cycles. And I said this to my husband literally yesterday, sitting in our car before we went into the gym. I was like, I'm so tired and exhausted of not being comfortable anymore. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, it is an exhausting piece for me in this moment. Like, I wake up and I just feel angry and mad at myself all the time. And that feeling of being angry and mad all the time is exhausting. Okay. It's exhausting. So when I say that what I'm doing by trying to just focus on the things that I'm doing now, it doesn't mean I have to like where I'm at right now. I'm still not happy where I am. I'm still not comfortable in my skin. I'm still not feeling good about myself right now. But when I say it feels easy, it's because what I'm focusing on right now feels easier for me to focus on the things that I am currently doing and checking off boxes. As some people say, like, oh, you shouldn't just be checking off the boxes. Well, sometimes that's easier. Okay. And action is the thing that gets and creates that ease. And when I say ease, it doesn't mean, again, it's like, not that it's like, ching, like so done, right? But action is light. Action has energy behind it. Action moves you to a place. And I feel like in the last, oddly enough, just 13 days, I'm finally moving a little bit more forward motion than just staying still. Okay. And I feel like I've just been very stagnant over the last 2 years. Okay. So what exactly am I tracking right now? Steps, water, food, right? These are the things that I'm focusing on. And I'm focusing on, we'll start with steps, 10,000 steps a day. And this is not because everybody needs 10,000 steps a day, but because I was sitting right around 75 to 8,500 already. I need to go to the next level. The next level for me is upwards of 10,000. You guys, I sometimes used to get 12 to 15,000 steps a day. And I have been struggling for quite some time to be getting that 7,500 steps a day. Okay. And that's, again, it's not to compare. It's just to show a difference of what happens when you actually take action and move yourself, not necessarily physically, but just move yourself out of a place of sadness sometimes, or out of a place of like, I just feel stuck here. Well, why do we feel stuck? Because we're doing nothing. We're not taking action towards anything. So now I have a goal. So anyways, so I needed to push myself a little bit higher. So 10K is my next threshold. That's where we're at. Water. I don't even know how much water I was drinking the last 2 years. No idea. Goal is 80 to 90 ounces. So we are tracking it, and most days I'm hitting it. Okay. And then food tracking, which is my biggest crux right now, the hardest one for me right now. So my goal isn't necessarily to always be in a calorie deficit, but right now it is just to track my food. 90% of what I put in my mouth needs to go in my tracker. Like, I just ate a tomato that I need to track because I need to put it in my tracker. So the goal is to just track. That's it. It's not to be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter if I'm over calories, quote unquote. If I eat pizza rolls at 9 p.m., I'm going to track it. The other night I had popcorn at 9 p.m. I tracked it. Okay. That's it. The 3 things. And I'm doing those, I'm focusing on those every single day. I'm focusing on what I am doing, not what I did. Okay. And I have a feeling that there's a lot of you listening right now that are stuck in this same place. And here's what I want to, talk to you about is that shame does not move you. It paralyzes you, right? When you're beating yourself up for having to restart or gaining weight again, or losing this consistency, or, failing, or you're just not motivated, right? You're just stuck feeling like shit. And when you feel like shit about yourself, you don't take action. You don't move forward. Okay. And part of the problem is because we already feel like, well, I've already failed. So what is the point? Right? You've already fucked it all up. You've already messed up. You already did it. You already, quote unquote, my situation, you already gained the weight back. You already did it. You already did the quote unquote wrong thing. So what is the point? Okay. It's like almost like I was waiting to feel better to do something, when that's backwards. I needed to do something to start feeling better. And the thing that I will tell you is that, and I've posted about it a lot on my social media, is that confidence comes from action. Confidence is not stagnant. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is action. It is like movement. Okay. It is like a thing that you can feel. It is not this like just feeling that we like. When I say feel, I mean like physically feel, like you feel confident, like not just like, oh, I'm confident today, or I'm happy, right? Like, no, it's like this like huge thing that you every bone inside your body is doing something. There's just something different about it. Okay. So when you don't feel good, you don't take the action, right? And so we are waiting to feel good to do something instead of doing something to feel better. And the action is what shifts your focus from what you did to yourself to what am I doing right now? Okay. And some of us might go, but it's only been 13 days. Can it really be that different 13 days in? Yeah, it can. And while the scale is definitely starting to trend in a downward direction, hell yeah, for me. Okay. That's not the point. The point is I feel better. And it's not even about, again, because, I often tell my clients, like, everything can't be based off of feelings. So I feel better. Why? Because when I look at my calendar and I see that I am following through, that is what makes me feel better. It's not about I can't just say, well, I feel better. I feel better because I actually have data that shows me I am doing better. Right? I feel less stressed. I feel less stuck. I feel like I'm actually a little bit more in control instead of just being paralyzed by the shame and the guilt and the poor me. The poor me. Why did I do that? Why did I let that happen? I'm such a bad person. I should have spoke up I didn't do those things. I have to accept that. But I also know what to do to get out of this place. Right? So I'm not really worried about, okay, well, I have to get this 30 pounds off. I'm more focused on, did I do the things that I said I was going to do today, right now, in the month of April? Am I showing up? Did I track my water? Did I hit my steps? Did I track my food? Okay, then I move the fuck on. Are there days where I haven't tracked all of my food? I think the only day I haven't tracked up to 90% of my food is Easter Sunday. I tracked all the way up until my sister's house, and I talked about that. There's been a couple of days that I have not hit my steps. Let me look, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 days I haven't hit my steps. Some of those days have been closer than others to that 10,000 and just never made it to 10,000. But other days like yesterday I was only at like maybe 6,000 steps. It is what it is. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I didn't do the thing. I marked it off on my calendar. And now today I'm going to do the thing. And that's what I'm focused on. Okay. So I'm not obsessing about all this stuff. I'm not going to spiral out of control. I'm not going to make it mean something about me if I don't hit all three. Boom, 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 boom. If I'm doing it more than I'm not doing it. And so what? 13 minus 4 is 9. So 9 out of 13 days, I'm over 50%. I'm so far doing better than I've done probably any month that I've been doing this in the last 2.5 years. Okay. I'm just following through. I'm doing the things I said I was going to do. And every single time I do the things I said I was going to do, all I'm doing is reinforcing that I am focused on what I'm doing and not what I did. Okay. And I want to briefly touch on here, why am I not worried about being in a calorie deficit? The reason I'm not overly concerned about being in a calorie deficit is because if I'm tracking my food for the majority of what I'm doing for 90% of my day, the likelihood is I will hit pretty close to my numbers. And I'm mostly focused on protein and calories. I am making sure I'm hitting enough fats for the day and getting in enough carbs for good recovery. Okay. But what it's going to do is show me data. So I can see like, okay, if I haven't been in a calorie deficit enough, well, then I understand why the scale isn't doing what I want it to do, or why my photos look the same, or why my measurements aren't changing. And I don't have to make that mean anything. It's like, okay, I can look at this data and go, okay, well, if I want to be in a calorie deficit, I have to be in it more often. Okay. So instead of being in a calorie deficit, 2 out of the 7 days, let's try 4 out of the 7 days and see what happens next time and go from there. Okay. And because of that, it makes it a lot less emotionally attached and tied to that shame spiral that I have been stuck in. Okay. So why am I sharing this with you? Like, why is this important? What is the purpose of this? I think I'm sharing this because I don't think I'm alone feeling this. I don't feel like I'm by myself. I don't feel like I'm on an island. I think that somebody out there right now who's listening to this, you've gained the weight back. Maybe you fell off your consistency path. Maybe you feel like you failed and you're like, what is the point? And you're beating yourself up and you are stuck in the shame of what you did. And that shame is going to continue to keep you paralyzed and stuck. It's going to keep you from taking the action. It's going to keep you down. And I want you to know that the way out is not to feel better and then take action. You need to shift what you did to what are you actively doing? What are you doing? Not what you did last year, not what you did last month, not what you did yesterday. But what are you doing right now, today? That's the only question that even matters. So, stop beating yourself up. And I know that's so easy to say because you want to know what? I'm still I had this entire conversation with my husband yesterday where I'm like, I feel the same uncomfortability in my body right now at this weight that I did at 250 pounds. And I'm not even close to 250 pounds currently. But I feel the feeling of being uncomfortable in my body or not moving the way I want to, or the clothes not fitting the way that I want them to, or just, it's just, I'm uncomfortable. Okay. It's still there. So yes, I'm focusing on these things. It doesn't mean that I just wake up every single day and I'm like fucking peaches and cream and like, oh, yay. No, that's not reality. Okay. But I am going to, instead of taking all this energy that I have been focusing on, all the things that I did to myself and the last 2 years, almost now 3, that I have spent in this spiral of shit, and I'm going to change that and take all that energy and start focusing it on what I am doing. I'm going to shift all that energy, because if I can take that energy and move it and focus it on what I'm currently doing to change things, where do you think that's going to take me? Probably the same place it's going to take you. Okay, so pick something. Maybe yours is one thing. I don't think you have to have 3 things. You could have 1 thing. You could have 2 things. They don't have to be water, tracking your food and walking or your steps. Like maybe it's just like, I'm going to move my body every single day, or I'm going to, I don't know, drink water first in the morning, AKA we're doing a water challenge. You can join Diet Dropout Club. Right? It could be something as simple as that, where you just start making something a part of your routine and you start focusing on the things that you're doing, because that's going to eventually translate into something else, and then into something else, and then into something else. Your boundaries are going to start shifting all by themselves. What you're going to tolerate is going to start shifting all by itself. You'll probably add in, well, because I did this, I should try to maybe to do this, as in like, okay, I am drinking more water. I bet I could get another glass of water in before I have my whatever, or whatever that might look like for you. Oh, I started adding in a walk around the block every day, before I go to work. I wonder what would happen if I did one after I got home from work too. Like you start seeing the possibilities of bigger things. And I don't mean like bigger as in like more, but just like better opportunities to change your situation versus staying in this ick and staying in the muck. Okay. So I want you to focus on the thing that you pick, not to undo what you did, not to punish yourself, not to prove you're not a failure, right? Nobody's a failure, but just to take action, just to move a little bit of a different direction, move energy into a different space and focus on right now. Because when you shift from what you did to what you're doing, that shame starts to feel a lot less heavy. You start to feel lighter and you start actually moving forward. Okay. This is where the progress happens. And in 13 days, I've done more now than what I've been doing the last 2 months, just solely based off of how I am feel a little bit lighter, a little bit less heavy all the time. And it doesn't mean that I'm not having these emotions still or still kind of irritated with myself, but I'm like, man, I can do this again. I can do that. And there's been parts of me that's like, I don't know if I can do this again. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I hope, this is not like a very strategic, training episode where we're talking like muscles and things. But it's just really being honest about where I'm at. And hopefully that can help you maybe shift something for yourself. And if you're stuck, and beating yourself up, maybe this will help you also kind of move out of that space. So, again, the Diet Dropout Club, this is my membership. It's $37 a month and you can join. You get access to all of the challenges. Right now we are doing the water challenge. And then I will also be doing a masterclass towards the end of the month as well. And you get access to all of that, plus the community. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to go drink some water and, get on with the day, I guess. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. I will catch you on the next episode.